Produced by Victoire.
Fashionistas of wrestling, welcome back to another episode of Stylin' the Podcast. And I will simply say this before I begin. Thou dost protest too much. I am one of your co-stars, the Master Emir, along with my co-star at the bottom of the screen, ladies and gentlemen. He is Pastor Andy.
Everybody, good to see you.
And Pastor, we're going to be joined momentarily at the top of our screen, riding in from the great West here in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a former WWE, AEW superstar. He is an American Gladiator champion. He is the stylist, Rico Costantino.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I just been out. I'm down. I've got medical issues, but that does not stop me from training my horse.
Absolutely.
And I just can't put my horse on hold. And I just popped in because I wanted to do the podcast. Hello, Pastor Andy. Good to see you.
Everybody, good to see you. Glad to have you back.
Oh, it's good to be back. A little low on energy, but it's all coming to an end soon. I got approved for my CPAP machine, which is desperately needed. I had a test done this last week, and I am in the severe category. I stopped breathing 39.7 times an hour.
That's
So
incredible amount.
it's not good. It fogs the brain. And as you know, I got blood clots, so my body cannot heal itself when it's trying to recover with
Right.
no sleep. I get no REM, no deep, everything is light, and your body cannot fix itself. It's in that stage.
Mhm.
So I'm filling out the forms now. Got doctors pushing forward due to the severity of the apnea. So I hope in a few weeks I can return to my normal, energetic, over the top self.
Absolutely. And we are looking forward to that. And anybody out there who has, faith, say a prayer for Rico. Say a prayer for his health. We're praying here for your full recovery, Rico, for optimized health. Likewise for all of us here. One thing that may be foggy outside of when you mentioned you were foggy there, Rico. I think some of our subscribers, or not subscribers, our non-subscribers rather, are foggy minded because Rico, they're not laying the smackdown on that subscribe button. What are they?
You gotta lay the smack down.
Yeah.
How are you going to get such great contact if you do not subscribe? Put the smack down, hit the like, and share with your friends.
Everybody.
I know it's going to help you and help somebody else.
Indeed, absolutely. Lay the smackdown, subscribe button. Also, consider becoming a member of our channel. Go and hit the join button on your TV screens or computer screens where you'll find exclusive content, things that we will not ordinarily talk about here on the free version of the channel. But gentlemen, I want to get into a juicy topic today because I want to talk about gossip, the gossip mill, the backstabbing, the childishness, the high school behavior that takes place in professional wrestling. Well, not just in pro wrestling, it takes place. The older you get, it's everywhere, right?
It's everywhere.
But let's specifically tailor it to pro wrestling today because before we begin, I'll bring up, there are people out there right now that are causing gossip and rumors and, in a sense, trash talk in The Undertaker because, Undertaker took his podcast over to WWE, I'm sure because he works for them. And now people are saying, oh, well, he shouldn't have done that. His wife controls his life and all this. And they're creating gossip. And nobody's verifying this information. Everybody's just jumping on board the bandwagon. They're going along with it. And The Undertaker, who served a huge tenure, entertained all of you out there, the ones that are watching this, all you wrestling fans. So quickly, people have turned their back on him. What is this bizarre world in which we live? Gentlemen, Rico, first I want to ask you, gossip and rumors, what kind of nonsense did you get exposed to when you were in the WWE? Any memorable incidents?
Just gossip, but I want to go back to Taker. I personally knew the man. Okay. And he is a strong individual. He's not going to let his wife take over. He might not be saying nothing because he doesn't need to say nothing, doesn't need to defend himself. He knows who he is. I know who he is. And I had a real great friendship with him. He's a straight shooter. He says what's on his mind. Uh, well balanced, and I know Pastor Andy was law enforcement. I was law enforcement. And you could tell when somebody's got their stuff together. You don't need to profess who you are when you actually have proved who you are through decades of hard work and nothing. I don't think there is anything that's come up over the Undertaker ever that has been uh, bad,
Mm.
where he's made a bad decision, extramarital affairs, or any of that.
Mm.
He's always showed up to work. He's always done his job. He's reinvented himself numerous times to entertain everybody.
Mm.
And I hear stuff like this, it reminds me of that old Don Henley song. Everybody loves dirty laundry.
That's
Yeah.
right.
People live to hear the bad side of somebody because they just can't believe somebody is that good,
Yeah.
and walks the line, believes in what he says, and just and shows it. Not only does he talk the talk, he walks the walk.
Yeah, and also, no coincidence here. Pastor Andy Rico, the Undertaker, has given his life to Jesus Christ. I believe Michelle McCool was the one who helped the Undertaker find his faith again. He's talked about that openly. He did that. He proclaimed Christ in his Hall of Fame speech last year. So again, it's no coincidence. Because Pastor, I want to bring you in on this. Because I've often experienced situations like that where I've been somewhere I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't said anything bad, but all of a sudden, such and such is saying this about you, or such and such doesn't like you, and they're trying to find 10 ways till Sunday to bury you. No pun intended for the Undertaker, but at the end of the day, Pastor, what is it? What is it? Because you're a pastor. What is it in the human condition? Let's say the malfunction in the human condition that inspires people to be so vile and create these things about people.
I think it's a combination of so many different things, pride, jealousy, all of that different stuff. Because some people, there's an old saying that misery loves company.
Mm,
And basically what it's saying is if I'm not happy, I don't want you to be happy.
mhm,
If I'm miserable, then and don't want to have anything good in my life, then I don't want you to have it either. And so the number one way I can try to take that away from you is just tell something about you. I don't care if it's true or not.
mhm,
Even if we look at Bible stories that was going on, all the way back, like in of course, it's kind of been reduced to more of a kid story, but Daniel in the lion's den. All right, so the concept of that is Daniel is working with the king and he's in good graces and stuff. Well, people don't like that because he's in
mhm.
a good position, in an elevated position, and so they said, well, let's find something on him, and they couldn't. They
Yeah.
couldn't find anything, and Scripture says so they made it up. Here in politics and in America, the top politicians will admit to that. If we can't find something on our political opponent, we make it up. We start
Yeah.
a smear campaign. And so it's part of, I think it is part of I think human condition is a very good word because it almost seems like we're naturally to some degree wired that if you've got it and I don't, I want it, and how can I get it type thing. But the problem is obviously we we have to have the power to overcome that, which I think only comes through the faith. I think we
Mhm.
can't do it on our own. But I think, it really speaks about the condition of your heart. If you have that much angst and jealousy and just ugliness toward another person, even if you don't like them, maybe they're just not your cup of tea or whatever the case. If you're trying to harm them, that says more about you than them.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely.
does.
Absolutely. Before we go any further, before I don't want to forget, gentlemen, I want to give a shout out to our dear friend, one of my co-stars now, actually, one of our co-stars here on the Master of Wrestling, Matthew Jacobs up in Canada, who's now been redubbed the Bodacious Suave. by the way, everybody. So I want to give a good shout out to Matthew. Matthew will be joining us on the podcast again later this week. We'll have him here with you and I, with both of us, all three of us gentlemen. Just wanted to just give that plug right there. But coming back what you were saying, yeah. Yeah, trying to tear each other down. It's like it seems to be obviously it's since the beginning of time. You know, Rico, you give me that analogy all the time. Crabs trying to get out of a bucket, right?
Yep.
I'll let you tell the audience that in case nobody's heard that.
It's called crab in the bucket syndrome. You can take a 5 gallon bucket or whatever bucket and you throw a bunch of crabs that you caught. And if one figures a way to get out, trying to get out, the other crabs are like, oh, let's follow him. No, they grab him and pull him right back down in the bucket because he's found a way to release himself, but
Yeah.
they won't let him because they haven't thought of it. And that's what I call the crab in the bucket syndrome.
You know what's
And a
remarkable?
lot of people,
Yeah, yeah. You know what's remarkable though, gentlemen, and I want to pose this to you because both of you are in law enforcement. Rico, you were in WWE. Pastor, you've ran wrestling shows. You've been in wrestling. At the top level. Let's go in our minds. People like Undertaker, people like Triple H, people like Vince McMahon, Eric Bischoff. They're savvy to this. They're wise to it. So the people on the, let's just say the levels trying to get in, the crabs trying to claw them way to the top. Often I think that they forget, they seem to think that the top people are going to fall for this kind of nonsense, gossip. But let's just share with our viewers right now. Again, you two being in law enforcement, how can you identify if somebody is full of crap, right? And who is the gossip? If the is the gossiper ever the true person? Are they the culprit or are they telling the truth? I'm going to pose it to you, gentlemen.
well, Pastor, you want to go first?
You got it, man.
Okay. When I was investigating things, the one who talked the most, who tried to get you on their side to uh, uphold the law on the other one, that was always suspicious to me
Very.
because, as I always think and still think, there's three sides to a story. There's this side, and right in the middle is the truth. And that, as a law enforcement officer, would find out what happened to narrow down to if there's any laws broken or what somebody should be charged with. Uh, I would charge them and then write my report, and it would go to a district attorney or a city attorney, and then to a judge or a jury, and they would make the final decision on my investigation. So whether they went free or paid the price at that time, I was none of my concern. My concern was to get the facts, put them on the paper, because the DA or the CA were not there.
Right.
And I want to give them as much information as I can so they can make an informed decision because they were at a higher level of education and could debate in front of a judge or in front of a jury. And hopefully, in my eyes, the truth would come out.
Mhm.
But I was the baseline, just like you were, Pastor.
Oh,
The
no,
baseline,
you're
get
right.
all the facts.
That's right. No, a lot of times the person that is overzealous, that's yeah, they kind of draw a little. You kind of wonder, okay, what's your angle? Because it's almost like the person, and I've known a few people like this. They want to tell you, they want to just continually tell you how great they are. That generally is a pretty good month. They're not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because if I've got to tell you how great I am, there's probably something not all adding up. But when it comes to, the cases and stuff, I remember this murder case that we worked one time. And so it was a terrible, terrible situation. The person had been bludgeoned to death. And so we're there working the crime scene. The guy that did it came back. Okay. Now this was his thought process. If I come back and act as if I'm shocked, surprised, I can't believe this happened, and he's asking all these questions and he's really, really kind of sticking his nose a little bit too deep into the thing. So he to himself didn't realize, but he's drawing suspicion to himself. But here's the thing: people like that don't think
Hmm.
because they're so busy trying to get you diverted to somewhere else that they're no longer thinking. Because in this particular case, so this guy is asking all these questions. What could this happen? Who could have done this and this that? And all the while we're standing there looking at this idiot, and from the knee down on his pants is covered in blood.
Oh my gosh.
He was the one that did it.
Yeah. Sheesh.
He was trying to be slick, I want to come in. I'm going to tell you and get you looking at Bill and Tom and everybody else that didn't like this guy. And no, it was you all the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How should somebody, yeah, for somebody who's dealing with this out there, how should someone deal with gossip? So let's just say like the Undertaker situation. He hears about all, I mean, I'm sure he hears about all this nonsense now that's piling up, on YouTube and what about him. Questioning his manhood is what I think the angle that these people are using. How should people respond to a gossip? If somebody is running their mouth to other people, and of course, some people are gullible. They're going to fall for this nonsense. But how should the person, let's just call them the victim in this circumstance, how should they handle themselves?
Well,
Which one?
Uh,
Go ahead, Pastor.
Rico, Pastor, go ahead.
Pastor.
I think the first thing is from a public perspective, like let's just say, with a public figure such as this, he's handling it the right way. You don't say nothing.
Okay.
Yep.
Because then you go into defense mode and you're trying to that feeds the person that's doing this, because now it's like the bully, back in school. The more that they saw that what they did affected you, whether you cried or whatever like that, the more they poured the fuel on. They enjoyed that. They kind of got off on that. So the people that are spreading these rumors and innuendos and gossip, whatever, they're egging on a response. They want one.
Yeah.
Don't give them what they're asking for. Now, privately, you contact this person, whether through legal channels or whatever, or man to man. The scripture even says if you got a problem with somebody, go to them face to face and talk to them. You get on the phone with this guy or get on a plane. In this case, they can afford the plane tickets, and go say, listen, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, sitting, like in particular with this one guy, there, if 6'9" Undertaker walked in the door, he probably wouldn't be near as brave.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
I,
Well, Rico?
I agree with Pastor Andy. Why defend yourself when there's nothing to defend? When everything is pretend,
Mhm.
whatever they're saying. An Undertaker knows himself. He's a common man.
Mhm.
He knows this is all PR bullcrap.
Mhm.
He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't he do? He's proved himself decades,
Yeah.
decades.
Yeah.
He's been a pillar, a professional, humanitarian. He's been everything that is expected of a man of his stature and his famous,
Mhm.
his celebrityism, and he hasn't faltered.
Yeah.
So why throw fuel on the fire? Why confront them publicly? Now
Absolutely.
it's like being a politician.
Yeah.
I've always said that when somebody who's gossiping is pointing their finger at you, going, you, they don't realize they got three fingers pointing right back at them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's trying to start a fire under Undertaker.
Yeah.
Undertaker's too smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a very smart man. He, like I said, he was the judge in wrestler's court.
Yeah.
You don't get that by just because you're some famous character. You get that because of your integrity.
Yeah.
Other wrestlers believe in your integrity and whatever decision you make. So we go and we bring it to him,
Yeah.
and he says, okay, you're going to do 500 squats or whatever, or you got to do this guy, you got to carry this guy's bag for the next 3 tours, or whatever. It's not imprisonment or firing. It's to make you learn a lesson within the wrestling business.
Yeah.
And everybody in during my time believed in what the dead man said.
Yeah.
If he made a decision, it was a proper decision. He had the right facts. He didn't go off emotion, you know. So I can say that from a personal point of view, you know. And he was always and he had a sense of humor. I've
Yeah.
told the story where I was in there putting up my Adrian Street makeup and he's doing his eyeliner. And I said, hey, you want to borrow some of mine? And he tried not to laugh.
Mhm.
And he just looked at me and turned and went, no. And then he walked out of the room, So he did have a sense of humor, but he didn't break character until we were in Pesaro and I took a swim.
Yeah.
And he kind of went, he didn't call me any names, but it was like, you idiot,
Yeah.
that's shark infested water. What are you doing? So he
Yeah.
was protecting me from myself, basically. So that's the Undertaker I know.
Yeah.
And all you people who are taking shots at him, shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You couldn't, in my eyes, I couldn't see a better person for what he's done.
Yeah.
With the business, side the business. And if you want to come here to Prescott, Arizona and talk to me about it, come on by.
Yeah.
I'm not hard to find.
Yeah.
Small town.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We just wanted to clear that up. So just remember that, viewers out there. He who does the talking is the guilty party, typically, not typically, guaranteed. Undertaker, so much respect for him. Rico, you mentioned there Italy, I believe you mentioned. I want to let everybody know, Rico, you know this. Rico and I will be actually going international. Pastor, you're hearing about this for the first time. We're going to be appearing on a international Italian pro wrestling podcast. We're going to be collaborating with this Italian contingent, Rico. I got the information. I got the confirmation yesterday. They're going to be collaborating with us. They're going to be promoting our network across in Europe, across Italy, France, and all that. Fortunately, well, Rico, I know you're Sicilian lineage. I hope you can speak some Italian.
Yes, but not the good words.
Okay. I can speak French, so we're good with Canadian and France, but nonetheless, I want to do that.
I have already ordered my Italian suit.
Excellent. Excellent, Rico.
For that day.
Excellent.
I got my beret. Oh, I've got the cheese and the salami. Oh, I'm ready to go.
Ready to go there. I can hear the Godfather music playing right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Styling the Podcast. Make sure you lay the smack down on that subscribe button. Don't be lazy. Don't be foggy brain. Hit it right now. And from all of us, from Pastor Andy, from Rico Constantino, from myself, the Master Emir, this has been Styling. God bless, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Fans, the time has come for you to flex your appreciation in style. The Masters of Wrestling delivers the most truthful pro wrestling content week in, week out. And now we want you to show your support wherever you go. Power and Glory, the podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. Styling the Podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. To order your t-shirt and for shipping information, use the email address in the description of this video. The Masters of Wrestling. Order your t-shirts now.